maybe up to 8 or so animals stuck there. And if you look at the type of mud that is there, even you as the farmer, you can't do anything about it. You can only go there and watch, because you may also get stuck in there. That's a very thick mud there. Right. I have something that I call the contest comparisons. I think we've heard it several times as people discuss among themselves to say, this drought is reminiscent of the 1992 drought. How many of us were inexistent in 1992? Or shall I say, those who were not inexistent? All right, my son there was not existing because his father was in Form 3. Okay. But we will remember 1992, and if you talk to people, the first thing that they talk about in 1992, they talk about the yellow maize that we ate, commonly known as Kenya. I don't know why it's called Kenya, but the yellow maize meal that we ate. But in terms of, we want to ground the situation so that we understand how different 1992 is going to be from 2024. I'm saying in 1992, the climatic change effects, maybe they had not set in. We had not started to hear a lot about climate change, climate variability, and all those terms that come with climate. In 1992, I think we had not started to hear. So it means we were still good rainfall-wise and so on. The Zimbabwe economy was stronger then. We still had a single currency. It was stronger, 1992. Those that were working, Malaba Ohola Malin, $10. Right, it was a strong economy. So what does that mean if it was strong? It means the ability to respond, whether from the private sector or from the government, the ability was there because the economy was strong. The private sector means they were making business, they were making profit, they could. Now, if we go across 2024, the climate change effects, I think they are at the west. We're in this drought, but this drought is building on mini droughts, if I may call them, that have been happening over the years. We hardly have good season. In fact, it's known that in like Matabeleland, you only get one good season in every 4 or 5 years. Some of them are average. So this drought is like building on a very bad previous on bad previous years. In terms of the economy, I think our economy compared to 1992 is not at its best. So that means the ability for government to respond, and even private sector and others, is limited because we are in a difficult economy. We also had the CSC factor, Cold Storage Commission, in 1992. CSC was still a monopoly, and it was a big player. It means CSC is a government parastatal, which also was profit-driven, but also with the welfare of farmers in their intentions. So they would do something to save the farmers' animals. In fact, CSC would buy the animals in difficult times, keep them in their ranches, and then sell the animals after the difficult. They would also ranches which farmers could utilize for relief grazing. CSC had massive infrastructure like ranches and pens where they did feedlots across. By then, CSC owned about 9 ranches covering about 250,000 hectares. And the largest ranch, I think, was in West Nicholson, CSC. If we compare with the CSC now, CSC is struggling to regain its former glory. I think we've seen its struggles in the media. It's well documented. There are also private abattoir operators. And the private abattoir operators are mostly profit-driven. They've not really demonstrated that they can do the welfare part for farmers. Maybe they will. But they look at the bottom line. The bottom line is like any other businesses. Most of the CSC infrastructure has long been vandalized. Those of us that come from the communal areas, Lapha esitemaseli khona. And we know those places. If you're in Lupane, Gomoza, Emalungu, if you are in Plumtree, I think Kubo Chichi, Olinda, and so on. If you are in Cholocho, Jimila, and all you have pens there, massive pens where CSA would conduct the cells. And those pens could also be converted for feedlot purposes and so on. But all that infrastructure has been deteriorated over the years. So the ability to respond is compromised by that. In 1992, of course, with what I would call poor early warning system, the internet, we were not caught up on the internet. We didn't have the WhatsApps that we have now. Now you can Google and see what the weather is going to look like today and so on. Those kind of warning system, we didn't have them in 1992. But this year, on a positive note, we, at least technology-wise, we can be warned. Statistics-wise, that drought, 1992, we lost 1.03 million animals. That's huge, yeah? If you put an average price for an animal to be 500, I don't know what that translates to if you multiply. But that's a huge loss to the nation first, and the loss to the farmers. 1.3 million animals lost to that drought. So if we don't do anything in terms of preparation, we can lose more. More than 1 million cattle can be lost due to poverty deaths if no mitigation measures are instituted. Okay, where am I pointing this thing? Okay. Any more comparisons to share? 1992 versus 2024. Anyone who thinks there's something to point in terms of difference? The difference that tends to aggravate the drought situation. We will share if we get the comparison. What needs to be done now? Now we're going into the meat of probably this meeting. What needs to be done? And I've broken this to say by government. They've already done the first step. The declaration, which was done by the president, which I've alluded to earlier on, what does that declaration mean? It means those that mobilize resources, your funding agencies, your your donor institutions, can use the declaration to source for support and then provide the necessary intervention. We will remember that I think in the years of 2015, 2016, the El Nino, we had other organizations like FAO providing subsidized stock feed. They can only mobilize the resources when it has been declared a disaster like it has been done. From the government's point of view, that declaration, it means the civil protection aspect of the government has been activated. They can start prioritizing interventions towards mitigation. So the other thing that needs to be done is provide subsidized stock feed. The guest of honor was quoted, I think, in recent articles, or maybe it could be a week or so, where there was an article saying the PEMSEC indicated that there will be subsidized stock feed for farmers. We hope that comes to fruition because that is important. Provide relief grazing in national estates with idle land, e.g. other estates. These estates tend to have a lot of good grazing because some will have low livestock numbers, so they have a lot of grass. However, the challenge is that some of the estates are under the public-private partnership arrangements. I think Mapanen Ranch is one such estate. I don't know other estate, but where there are other estates with the land and the good grazing, can government allow for farmers to access that in terms of relief grazing? Relax animal movement, and I put in brackets with a reasonable limit because of the January disease. You have to move your animals from your farm or where you are to a place where they have a better grazing. So if the conditions are so strict, it will be difficult for farmers to move, or they will move illegally or something. But at least to allow farmers to move to better grazing. Borehole rehabilitation for water provision, it was also quoted in the same statement about by the PEMSEC that there will be rehabilitation of boreholes. If that can happen, that will be a very good intervention, because water is going to be a serious challenge for your livestock. We will know that it is the lack of water or shortage of water which kills your animals first, more than shortage of the feed. Relaxed taxes or levies, if any, on borehole drilling and consumables to enable cheaper water provision. I think in recent times there have been things circulating about if you want to drill a borehole, go and register Zinwa, do this and do that, making the process a bit tedious. If that can be relaxed so that farmers can actually drill and buy maybe water equipment much cheaper, that would be better. By the farmer, what should the farmer do? You who is here, what should you do? This is the most important player on drought mitigation. No action taken, the disaster amplifies. The first important thing is that these are your animals. They are national assets, yes, but these are your animals. This is why when you go to sell them, you spend the money on your own. These are your animals. So you need to do something as the farmer. The first message which the extension providers, government or private sector, provide is that to destock, sell and procure feed. And I think I've already mentioned that this is becoming a challenge, especially at the moment because of the market which is suppressed. But if you have a big yard and you can destock and use the proceeds to buy the stock feed and pile your stock feed so that you feed, that will be great. Seek and move your animals to places with better grazing. Not many are available at the moment. That's a fact. You can get one or two or better places, but not many are available. But if you can get, please move your animals in time to those places. Secure a water source for your animals. Drill a borehole if you must. These are your animals. Drill a borehole. You can sell that Honda Fit and drill a borehole. A borehole for 40 meters, now it's what? Around $800, to 1,000 for 40 meters. Where you are, more probably you need 80 meters to get water, depending on where you are. Drill a borehole. If otherwise, providing water will be a challenge. Actively source and stockpile feed for use during the dry season. Commercial feed, hay bales, molasses, mineral blocks, and so on. Don't run when the animals are already dying. We've mentioned that the feed will not be available, it will be expensive. Do it now. I'm actually happy to say, I see a lot of farmers, I see a lot of trucks moving with hay bales, and I'm saying farmers are doing something. In fact, if you go along Richmond, towards the, what call this garage there, Vicforce garage, you see people actually clearing the grass there and collecting that grass, and you can say that these are farmers taking the grass. So that's what farmers need to do. Actively seek for the feed, be it your tripods, be it your, depending what you can get, your hay bales, your, if there's a place where you can go and cut the grass and keep for use later, please do that. Then we have the management aspects that almost every farmer knows. You have to wean your animals early. Even if your calf is about 5 months or so, just wean it and maybe put the calf on the stock feed. Because if you don't, it's putting stress on the dam, the mother, who's not getting enough feed from the veld. It is the mother who starts to go down and be recumbent. So early weaning and other good husband practices, good tipisa and so on. An animal that is of poor nutrition and is also afflicted by diseases, it will die much faster. The private sector players, what should they do? They are here. Loans for stock feed by the banks or stock feed manufacturers. You are here as the bank, can you loan me as a farmer the stock feed? You can go and pay for the stock feed at AgriFeeds or wherever, and then I collect the feed. But at least loan me the stock feed as a farmer. That's what I think or as a stock feed manufacturers, you can also. Loans for ball drilling, the same players, if the banks. Then the contract farming feedlots. I'm looking at abattoir operators as the players, where they provide the feed, the farmers feed the animals, the abattoir operator, then they sell the animals to the abattoir operators. It has happened in some districts where, because the abattoir operator knows I will need the animals during the dry period, it will be very difficult to get animals. They give the feed to the farmers. Farmers feed the animals that they want to sell to the abattoir operator. Some kind of contract farming. Then there's a cattle stock feed swap. Also, I'm looking at abattoir operators. What this swap means is that the farmer has got 2 animals, they are valued at $800. Instead of paying $800, the abattoir operator gives the farmer stock feed worth $800 so that the farmer can save the other animals. The cattle stock feed swap, some districts have done that before. Ball drilling, Zino, private sector players, what can they do? Can I pay using my animals and you come and drill a ball for me? You are Zino, you are private driller, and so on. What can they do? If they are here and they share the kind of product that they have, it will be nice. What else can the private sector players do? It's a question that probably we can keep. We have a panel for discussion later on. We can be answering to say, what else can the private sector players do to help farmers mitigate against this drought? The development partners, your NGOs and so on, what can they do? I've already mentioned that in 1 year, I think it was FAO, who was providing subsidized stock feed. Let them do that if they can. The development, provide the subsidized stock feed so that farmers can afford and pay. Support also drilling pole, rehabilitation of poles and water troughs for watering animals. Some bores are there in other areas. They just need to be rehabilitated. And then you put a drinking trough so that animals can come and drink. The farmers can actually pump the water for the animals. In some cases, the development partners can also solarize. This technology of pumping like this, I think it's getting outdated. And some of the farmers, people keeping the animals, especially smallholder communal areas, they are old people. Look at them, to come and go in the coaches. Actually, when you are pumping water from the bores, tendency is that your animal, you won't provide enough water for your animals. We know that a mature animal needs about 50 liters of water per day. You have 10 animals, so you need 500 liters. That's about 2 drums. How many times can you go and coaches with 2 drums? It's a difficult process. So if we can get those solarized by our development partners, we will really appreciate as farmers.
So I'll start by saying the Permanent Secretary, Professor Jiri, really wanted to come to this, to grace this event, but there were some other pressing issues. In fact, I was not supposed to come to this event myself, but on Thursday, when I was in Redcliffe and traveling from Redcliffe to Mzarabani for some other work there, that's when I received a call from him that he had been given another assignment today and would not be able to make it today. So that's where I was asked to come here, to travel from the trip that I had gone to Musarabani to pass through Gweru yesterday for another event and come today to represent him. So the Director of Ceremonies, government heads of department, special mention to Deputy Director Mr. Ndlovu, MK for Mat South, development partners here represented by Mr. Due, various facilitators for this program, the academia, I headed their universities, Lupani, Gwanda, financial service providers, we had the banks who are here, S. Godin Agric College. From the invited guests, I also heard that we've got some livestock breeders who are here. We want to acknowledge your presence. Farmers from various sectors, thank you for coming. Investors, if there are any investors, ladies and gentlemen, and our dear friends from the media fraternity. What I will do is I will read this speech, then I will also come in with some other measures that the permanent secretary also had asked me to highlight during this, this discussion. So let me hasten to express my appreciation of the honor I have been bestowed to officiate the opening of this maiden agricultural Indaba. Accordingly, allow me to welcome you all to this important gathering and assure you that this is not time wasted, but really time invested. This is a noble cause which derives its significance from the obtaining El Nino phenomenon that has gripped the country since November last year, resulting in a significantly reduced yields as well as failing or failed agricultural productivity and production among many other rain-fed agriculture planted areas. So ladies and gentlemen, in October 2023, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration confirmed that an El Nino event would occur in Zimbabwe between October 2023 up to around March 2024. And the Meteorological Services Department forecast for the same period indicated that the southern regions of the country would be mostly affected. The Matabeleland, Midlands, Masvingo, and Manicaland. However, we realized that all the provinces were actually affected. In fact, we hear that Zimbabwe was the epicenter of this El Nino as we compare with other countries in the southern region. The major trait of the El Nino event has been the delayed onset of rainfall and prolonged dry spells, which has affected agricultural production, both crop and animal. I believe all of us can bear witness to this trend. For the 2023-24 agricultural season, crop and livestock surveys confirm that most crops have been written off and livestock is already succumbing to water and food shortage. Government and independent assessments and research show that the situation is also compounded by lack of knowledge of good agricultural practices, lack of access to financial services by farmers, poor networking, as well as not acting on extension service advice, among other issues. Ladies and gentlemen, since the onset of the El Nino phenomenon, the government has been coming up with the strategies to activate drought mitigation policies, the institutional frameworks, and rolling out of interventions to proactively address the negative impacts of drought across the country. I wish to acknowledge and thank the Food and Agriculture Organization, World Food Programme, the private sector, and all organizations in the food security and livelihood cluster for partnering with the government in ensuring that these interventions are planned and implemented accordingly. as a ministry, we value the whole of government approach, but not only government. In fact, we value the whole of society approach. Everyone should get involved in the implementation of these interventions. It is imperative for me to mention that farmers in this region, agroecological regions 4 and 5, remain government's top priority in terms of the structural and non-structural drought mitigation measures, including the rehabilitation of irrigation schemes, construction of dams for irrigation purposes, input support, training, and extension services. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to today's event, I am pleased by the organizers of this Indaba, who are primarily smallholder farmers like most of you, and most importantly, great participation of women. Inspired by the Vision 2030 and the National Development Strategy 1, and of course, their own lived life experiences, they decided to partner with the government and call on everyone to put hands on the deck to address the El Nino challenge we are all facing. This is a good platform for farmers to voice their concerns, while service providers and development partners are proffering some solutions through their different products and services. The government, likewise, through department representatives, will explain the policy and legislative and structural frameworks, current interventions, and those on the cards. It is my hope that everyone will leave this place satisfied. Now, let me go through some livestock drought mitigation measures that have been proposed by government. And what I'm asking from you, from this Indaba, is to say, yes, the drought mitigation measures have been proposed, but it is you farmers, as we have seen in the previous presentation, that you should make the measures user-friendly. It is you who should be able to come up with specific ways of how do we implement and how do we make these helpful. So I will go through some 14 proposed measures, which we would want you as farmers to say, in this one, let us do it this way. This one, let us improve it this way, so that we are able to save our livestock. The first one is hay baling. Government proposes that we need to expedite hay baling. But it is up to you farmers now to come in and say, where is the hay? How do we do the hay baling? If the bales are in the Marsh Central or in Marsh East, how do they come here? If we have got some grass in Mashingo, how does it reach here? So we want ideas from you farmers to say, already we have got over 1 million hay bales that have been cut that are at various farms. But some farmers are selling the hay bales from their farms. Yet the hay bales are more needed in Marsh South than in Marsh West, than in Marsh East, where the bales are. So we want you as farmers to come up with these ideas. Yes, we want to expedite hay baling. The private sector, government, everyone. But how do we expedite it? The second one is silage making. Already from the previous presentation, we also heard something on that. How do we make that useful so that we are able to save our livestock? The third one is borehole drilling. Borehole drilling by government, borehole drilling by the private sector, by various organizations, by individual farmers, as we have heard from the previous presenter. As individual farmers, we've got a role to save our livestock. But as government, we have targeted that before end of this year, we should have done 10,000 new boreholes that have to be drilled. And to meet that target, we have said we are targeting at least 1,000 boreholes that have to be drilled every month. Now, where is the priority? The priority is in natural region 4 and 5. And the directive is that all the borehole drilling rigs by Zinwa or RIDA have to move to natural regions 4 and 5 to make sure that we drill these boreholes and rehabilitate any boreholes. 4, water troughs at these borehole drilling sites. As individual farmers, as organizations, as private sector, let us have these water troughs at the sites. 5, control of field fires. We want to be very, very massive. This time around, we don't want to lose any grass. We need the grass to feed our livestock. We need the grass for mulching for the coming season for Pfumvudza. So we need to make any means to save the grass that we currently have. Further conservation, preservation, and improvement. How do we do that? 7, livestock drought mitigation task forces. Do we have local committees that are ready to action and serve our livestock from village level if we're in the communal areas, at ward level if we're in the various sectors, at district level? Do we have some task forces that bring all stakeholders and say, how do we save our livestock? Piping of water from dams or other water sources to some strategic areas, is that possible? How can we do that? If there is a dam which is 10 kilometers away, is it possible to pipe or take that water and make it be used somewhere else? Mobilization of water bowsers for strategic areas. Can we do that? We saw in the last year when we lost some livestock in Mud South and Mud North. Is it possible to use these water bowsers and at least make sure that we avail water to our livestock? Urea treatment of stover, drought mitigation awareness campaigns. Have we done enough to make sure that people know that we are in a drought and we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4? We need to seriously do this at all levels. Government, private sector, various organizations, farmer unions. Let's talk about this. Let's say a lot about how do we mitigate and save our livestock. Relief grazing, already it has been highlighted in the previous presentation, as well as the issue of stock feeds. But we also talk of destocking. But our minister doesn't like this term, destocking. As if we destock only when we are in a drought situation. Yet this is something that we normally should even do to sell those non-productive livestock, even during normal situations. So terms like destocking, poverty debts, they are a bit frightening, as if it's not a proper strategy that should be used. So can't we use other terms? And MK, I think, find better terms to use than say, let's destock. Then it becomes like a bit frightening. Or we have recorded 4,000 poverty deaths. What's that? Can we come with another term which actually shows what it is? So these are some of the proposed mitigation measures, which we want you in this Indaba to say, yes, this is workable. This one, let's improve it this way, so that eventually we come up with the best measures to keep our livestock. So ladies and gentlemen, may I conclude by thanking all collaborators in this event for their valuable contribution in making this day successful. Once again, my special thanks to the organizers of the event for inviting me to officiate this occasion. It is my expectation that the participants will freely engage and contribute to the discussions to be followed. All present, with these remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I declare the agricultural Indaba officially open and wish you success.
I'm from CBZ Business, CBZ Bank Agribusiness Division. As usual, our payoff line is Partners for Success. We are always there to partner your businesses for success. My presentation is going to be very brief because I've noticed Uguchi on the panel of speakers, there is my sister there who's going to be talking about financial products and everything else. So, and also as a farmer, I think she will be like more on the ground with practical solutions to these continuous situations where El Nino has taught us something. It's been there before, and it's going to come. This is not the end of it. I think taking from Mr. Mnamati's opening remarks, we also want to concur with we have seen movement which is more focused from the parent ministry, focused in solving solutions, giving solutions to farmers' needs and requirements. My presentation, can you maybe, let's have the first slide. Oh, sorry. All right. I'm just going to talk about the basic products that we have. These are vanilla products, the standard to basically to all banks. The only difference may be that CBZ has really shed off the previous formal banking scheme. We are straight jacket and we want this. Of late, we have been focusing on tailor-making solutions that suit the farmers on a practical level on the ground. So we've got banking loans, basically all the banking loans that you find in a banking institution, we have them. We have overdrafts, we've got bank guarantees and advisory services. I wanted my colleague from the retail banking section to say a few words because I see we have a lot of women who are in business and they've got products that are tailor-made to, they're leaning more on the women and yeah. So I would like Takunda, please come through. Takunda is from our retail division. I just want him to say a few words before I go in. Very, very brief. While I'm at it, let me introduce you to Tanaka Makokove. Please stand up so that they can see you. Tanaka is our locally based agribusiness manager, relationship manager. So he's there by Belmont. I'll give you his mobile number, then you can link up with him. It's 0774 748 225. Then 225. I've got Takunda Mdenge. He's with the retail. He will answer all your questions about banking, all the difficulties that you have on banking. His mobile number is 772 851 548. Then I've got Collins. Collins is from our risk advisory department. I'll say something on a bit on that. His mobile number is 0719 561 899. So briefly, just go through the products that we have.
Thank you so much, Moses. Salemonani Nonke. Evelyn Johnny. All right, as Moses highlighted earlier, CBZ has tailor-made certain products that are targeted to certain segments of society, and farmers are also part of those targeted segments. So what we have right now as CBZ. I come from the retail side based out in Belmont, and I'll just briefly touch base on certain products that I believe would be actually beneficial for all of us. We view farmers as a business, and likewise, we also then expect our farmers to, at a minimum level, register themselves even as businesses. So, as highlighted by Moses, we do have a facility, a product facility for women that we've just recently launched, and it's called a She Solution. The She Solution, this is a business, this is a business product that we are aiming to give to ladies that are going out into business for the very first time, and the product facilities are as follows. It targets women in business, which includes farming, and those who want to venture into business as well. The annual subscription for this particular product, again, is going to just be a minimum of $50. And again, this is just to help cater for meetings and management of networking groups. The service fee, we've reduced it down to only $10 per month, and we're still going to announce the ZIG monthly price for that. The minimum balance for that account, again, has been reviewed downwards to $20, and we are intending to roll out very competitive interest rates for women that would have opened this particular account in this account class. Other account facilities that we have that we are also extending for those that will have registered as a business. We have the SME trader account, which is our entry-level account with the minimum monthly service fees. And then we also have which will then eventually then graduate you into the CBZ SME account. And then for those that are interested in coming up with cooperatives or savings clubs or saving societies, we can also then assist you to collaborate and cluster together and form your own savings cooperative, and we can assist you in that regard, even as far as issuing you out with point of sale machines. So that's just basically an outline of some of the business accounts that we have, in addition to the individual accounts that we have. So without taking much of your time, I'd just like to strongly encourage each and every one of us to consider opening an account that caters to the needs of yourself as a farmer. Having said that, thank you so much, Moses, for the time. Appreciate it. Back to you.
Thank you. So like I was saying, we are aligned to partner your businesses in the ways that you want to make them successful. I referred to Mr. Mnamati's opening remarks. Say, we are aligned and we are here to assist. You mentioned those 14 points that you identified: silage making, bore drilling. We already have facilities that are aligned to that. Let me just maybe go to the next slide. Sorry. Technology, Irgundivara. The next one, yeah. We, over and above the vanilla facilities, the generic ones, we have engaged government, and we have had the support from the Ministry of Agriculture to say, our farmers are failing to access funds, and funds at a reasonable cost. The government has assisted. We have this was for horticultural exporters, but there is part of that that affects the horticultural producers locally as we try to build help them build their businesses. We also have like tractor schemes. Examples is John Deere, we've got a Belarus scheme. These are fully supported by government. You don't need collateral security on those. The machine that you buy is going to be its own security. And part of the repayment is in local currency. So the same with the Massey Ferguson. Over and above that, we have gone a step further to engage private players like Delta, Bain, URL, Olivin. I heard there was talk of getting my feed stocks in mitigating of future droughts and everything else. We are already there with those private players, Ivins, Asia Tractors, all those schemes. We have schemes where we get bulk stock feed purchases, and for those farmers who may be lacking in collateral security, we arrange CMA arrangements, collateral management. We manage that stock as you draw. You draw as per need, and when that stock is under our management, we know that it's going to be used for the correct purpose. So we have schemes like that. For further details, you maybe contact Tanaka Makoko, who's based here locally. We also then have general lease financing, the normal product that banks offer. If you want to go, you buy your center pivots, you're going to go and buy your irrigation equipment, you add the machinery. I heard talk about my hay balers and things like that. We have got that product. So in brief, I didn't want to take most of your time. We had to cut short our presentation, but please do come and see us at our place there. And then Belmont branch is where our agribusiness is based. You may please approach Tanaka Makoko. Thank you.